expecting at least a good afternoon answer from you. So, can anyone tell me what we were discussing in the last class? Hello?
Sir, we programmed the timer 0 in normal mode and CTC mode.
So yes, obviously we are discussing the programming of our timers in our AVR microcontroller. And which microcontroller we are discussing? Hello, roll number 50. Hello, number 50. Hello, roll number 50. I don't think roll number 50 is in our
Sir,
class.
I'm here, sir.
Yes, yeah. So why you are not responding?
Sir, actually, my mic was not getting turned on. I was trying.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me which microcontroller we are discussing?
Sir, actually, I wasn't present in the last lab. Sorry, last class. Sorry for
But
that.
I am discussing this microcontroller from
Sir,
last 15 to
actually,
20 lectures.
okay then. Actually, the thing is, I guess this is my first lab after so many days. So,
So this is a lecture, and since last 20 lectures I am discussing the same microcontroller.
uh, let me, I was there in when we were discussing 8085.
Oh, ho, ho. So you have again got into the train after so many stations. Okay, let me ask to D20 ECD04. Hello, 20 ECD04. Are you in the class? 20 ECD04. May I remove you from the meeting, or are you going to answer the question? Okay, so let me remove you from the meeting. 59 number. 59 number. Number 59. Okay, so let me get the answer from 19 number. 59 again not in the class. 19 number.
Yes, sir.
Yes, which microcontroller we are discussing?
Atmega 32.
Yes, we are discussing Atmega 32 microcontroller. And this microcontroller is having 3 timer counter in it, and out of that 2 timers are of 8-bit and 1 timer is of 16-bit. So if I name it, then timer 0 and timer 2, they are 8-bit timers, and timer 1 is a 16-bit timer. So we have started discussing about the 8-bit timer, and in the discussion of an 8-bit timers we have discussed our timer 0. We have seen the internal structure of the timer 0, what are the things available in it, and how it can be used in 2 different mode, that is a CTC mode and a normal mode. So generally if you just want to have a delay or a time calculation kind of thing, you can use your timer in your normal mode, and if you want to have something in comparison, or comparing some events occurring outside the microcontrollers, you can use them in a CTC mode. You can all as well use the CTC mode for the generation of the delay also. So we have seen all this thing with the help of an examples. We have seen the 2 programs in which we have tried to configure our timer 0 in a CTC mode as well as in the normal mode. So now it is a time to discuss on another 8-bit timer, that is timer 2. So in today's class we are going to discuss timer 2, 8-bit timer counter which is present in our AVR microcontroller, and if time left we will also be discussing the basic things related to our timer 1 also. Okay, so are you ready? Can we start? Hello, 50 number. Now I think you would be
Yes,
aware
sir.
that we are discussing
Yeah.
AVR Atmega 32 microcontroller, and we are in the case of discussion of timer 2. Okay, so let me share my screen to support whatever the thing I'm going to discuss from over here. Okay, and let me know whether the screen is visible to everyone or not. So is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Not yet. I think there is so much of delay. Uh, Now
It's loading.
So now it is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
okay, so let's start discussing about the timer 2. Okay, so a timer 2 is an 8-bit timer. Already I have told you that we got two 8-bit timers. One is timer 0 and another is timer 2. Okay, so therefore it works same as your timer 0. Then what is the point of discussion? So definitely the point of discussion is what is the difference or what is the different thing that is available in timer 2 which is not available in our timer 0. Okay, so there are two differences between your timer 0 and timer 2. It may be an question in your external examination also that list out the point of difference between the timer 0 and timer 2. Okay, so these are the two difference which a timer 2 got from timer 0. So timer 2 can be used as a real time counter. Okay, so I think all of you would have heard about RTC. Yes, RTC, have you heard about RTC? RTC, a real time clock. So many microcontroller provide a real-time clock on chip. Okay, means you know how to use your timer. You know how to waste your timer in counting the time. Okay, but in our case of an AVR microcontroller, especially about 8 Mega32, your timer 2 would be working as a real-time clock or a real-time counter. So to do so, we should connect a crystal of a precisely frequency of 32.768 kilohertz. Okay. Now, generally we used to operate our AVR microcontroller at maximum frequency of 8 megahertz, or it may be up to 16 megahertz also. It depends upon which chip you are using, but generally we used to operate our crystals or you operate our systems at a higher frequency of megahertz. It may be generally in common we generally use 8 megahertz crystal that is connected to your AVR microcontroller family, and we run our system on it. But if you want to use your timer 2 as a real-time counter, then you must be connecting 32.768 kilohertz of crystal in between these two pins which are available. Already we have discussed this TOSC1 and TOSC2 at a time when we were discussing the pin configuration of our ATmega 32. So we got two pins. In between these two pins you can connect a crystal precisely of a frequency that is 32.76 hertz. Okay, and we need to operate it in a asynchronous mode. Okay, now timer 2 can operate in asynchronous mode. What do you mean by synchronous mode and asynchronous mode? So generally all your peripherals that are being available in your ATmega 32, they work at the same frequency as the frequency on which your CPU runs. Okay, so they can be seen that they are working in synchronous mode. Asynchronous means you are operating your timer, okay, on a frequency which is different than your system frequency. Okay, so that's why we can have your AS2. Okay, so the AS2 bit is available in ASSR register. Okay, so if you set that bit to 1, your timer 2 will start operating on a different frequency rather than your clock frequency or the system frequency. That's why we can say that it is working in an asynchronous mode. Okay, now why we are selecting this 32.76 hertz, 32.76 kilohertz only? The reason is this frequency is convenient for an 8-bit timer. Why? Because it can be scaled down to 1 hertz with the prescaler of 128. So if you use the prescaler of 128, then exactly you will be able to get this frequency converted to 1 hertz. 1 hertz means your time period would be equals to 1 second. Okay, so now counting this number of pulses that are input to your timer 0, you will be able to count the time. Means you can also check it out. If you divide 32.768 divided by 128, you will exactly get the value that is equals to 1. Okay, so if we divide 32.768 by 128, exactly it gives to 56. Okay, so we know that if it is an 8-bit timer, okay, if it is an 8-bit timer, you can see that, okay, a timer can count from 00 to 255, means it can exactly count 256 pulses, and if each pulse is of 1 megahertz, every time when your clock rolls over, okay, when your clock rolls over, you can see that you have counted 256 seconds. Okay, so this is how you can see that this connecting to 32.768 kilohertz of crystal between these two, dividing it by 128, okay, you can see that you will be able to get this particular thing. Okay, means every rollover you will get 1 second of time. Means if I divide 32.768 by 128, it is 256. Okay, so if I'll get 256, definitely if I'll count 256 pulses, I can say that it would be of 1 second. Okay, so this is how we can use our timer 2 as a real time clock. The second point of difference is in timer 0, we are having CS2002, CS200. If its value is 110, it is a rising edge selection. If it is 111, it is a falling edge selection. Okay, so it is used to count the external events, but timer 2 cannot be used to count an external events, because rather than counting an external events, it would be counting the number of pulses of your this crystal connected between these two pins of your microcontroller. So these are the 2 point of differences between your timer 0 and timer 2. Okay, so let's see the block diagram of our timer 2. So you can find out so many similarities between your timer 0 and timer 2. Means you can see from over here, if I'll start, because the difference is over here, so I'll be starting from the right hand side. So you can find OCF2 flag, which was also available in our OCF0, means timer 0, timer 2, both are having OCF flags. Okay, it is also having OCR register, it is having TCNT register, it is having TOV flag also. Control unit would be one and the same. It would be either count, up, down, and it is also provided a clearing signal to it, because whenever the compare occurs, the CTN TCNT2 register gets cleared. Okay, the multiplexer, yeah, we can also see that multiplexer is also here, which was also present in our timer 0, which is having 3 select line, CS20, CS21, CS22. On basis of this select line, you can see that any one out of clock would be provided as a timer clock to the timer 2. Okay, this is one and the same that we have seen in our timer 0, that if I'll connect it to 0, means you are not providing any kind of clock to your timer 2, timer 2 will stop. Okay, over here direct clock can also be provided. If I'll select 1, if I'll select 2, it is going to divide by 8. If it is 3, then it is divided by 32. 4, then it is divided by 64, and 5, it is exactly going to divide it by 128. So this is also a point of difference. So if I try to compare this with my timer 0, in timer 0 I'm not having this 128. Okay, a prescaler value of 128 is not available in our timer 2. Okay, so the prescaler, it is also having difference. The again other point of difference you can see over here, it is clock divided by 256. In the previous case, it was either a rising edge or a falling edge, and over here you can see that it is clock divided by 1024. In the previous case, it was the falling edge of the external signal. Prescaler remains the same. Now, how the core clock is being sourced to the prescaler, it is different than what we have seen in the timer 0. Hello, am I audible to everyone? Hello.
Yes, sir.
I think you are able to grasp the thing that what I'm explaining from over here. If yes,
So can
yeah.
you repeat once again?
Okay, so timer 0 and timer 2, they are one and the same, or they are having the same features. Okay, both of them are 8-bit timers, so you can find it out so many common things between timer 0 and timer 2. You can find TOV, OCF, OCR, TCNT control unit, and a multiplexer and a prescaler. But you can see the difference over here, means last 3 selection lines. Okay, If you go for timer 0, if you'll see exactly, you would have observed timer 0. Let me show you our timer 0 block diagram. Okay, so in timer 0, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you cannot find a prescaler that will divide your clock by 128. Okay, it can be by 8, 64, 257, 1024. Means 128 option is not present over here. The other is falling and a rising edge, means it can count an external events. Okay, but this will not be the case with your timer 0. And timer 0 is having an edge detector, but timer 2 is not having an edge detector. So these are point of the differences. Okay, the other point of difference you can see over here, the clock source. Okay, so the clock source is different in your timer 0 than timer 2. So timer 2 is having a different clock source. So let us see the clock source of timer 2. Okay, so the sourcing of clock is different. Okay, now as I already talk about AS2 bit, so AS2 bit is available in your ASSR register. Okay, and if you make this bit as 1, it will be working in an asynchronous mode. So you can see over here, if I make it 0, it will be working on the same clock on which my system is working. Okay, this is the clock. But if I make it 1, then it will be selecting a crystal, or it will be sourcing your timer with a clock which is connected between your TOSC1 and TOSC2. Okay, so this is exactly the clock frequency that can be this is the clock that can pass on to your timer if you make your timer to work in an asynchronous mode. Okay, so which crystal frequency we can connect, or what can be the frequency of crystal that can be connected over here? As already we discussed in the previous slide, if I want my timer to work in a mode of our real-time clock,
32.768.
32.768. So that is the crystal, or that is the frequency of a crystal that can be connected between these two. And selecting your 128 prescaler, clock divided by 128 prescaler, it will be exactly counting 1 second. Okay, 1 second of time. Am I clear? So this is
Yes,
the
sir.
point of this is the point of differences between your timer 0 and timer 2. Now let us let us slightly look into the TCCR. Okay, so over here also we can have TCCR. So you can see over here this counter, the control unit would be working upon TCCR, timer counter control register. So in the previous case it was TCCR 0, in this case it is TCCR 2. So TCCR is having same kind of bits which we have seen in your timer 0. It is having FOC2, WGM20 and WGM21 that can be used to select the mode in which your timer 2 can work. If it is 00, then it is normal mode. If it is 01, then it is CTC mode. If it is 10, then PWM mode, and 11, then it is fast WPM mode. Okay, and this is the select line that is supposed to be given to your multiplexer for selecting your clock. So over here you can see that if it is 000, no clock source to stop the timer. 001, no prescaler, direct clock would be provided. Then divide by 8, divide by 32, 64, and the most important one is 128, 256, and 1024. Okay, so the TCCR2 is a little bit same as TCCR1. The only point of difference is over here in your CS20 and CS22. Okay, so different combination will be forcing your timer to work in that different mode. Okay, so now let us see how we can program our timer 2 with the help of an example. So for an example, we would be taking that using a prescaler of 64. Now over here in a definition only, we have provided that what can be the prescaler selected. Otherwise, you need to select that what the prescaler you need to use. So in the next example, we will be seeing that how we can do the selection of a prescaler. Okay, so over here for just making the uh, to reduce the complexity, now we have directly given the prescaler of 64. Okay, so we need to write a program to generate a delay of 1920 microseconds. Okay, and for that we would be assuming the crystal connected is 8 megahertz. So what are the steps that you can carry out? And these are the also these are the steps that can also be used for programming your timer 0 also. Okay, so the first thing is, what is the timer clock? So a system clock is provided as 8 megahertz. So what is the timer clock? So the timer clock is equals to system clock divided by prescaler. So over here the prescaler is 64. Okay, so the system clock is 8 megahertz. So if I divide 8 by 64, then it will be giving 125 kilohertz. So the clock that is observed by my timer is having a frequency of 128 kilohertz, as I have used prescaler of 64. Okay, the second is the time period, okay, that is being observed by your timer. So 1 divided by 125 kilohertz, exactly it is 8 microseconds. Okay, so each clock time period observed by your timer is 8 microseconds. So now I'll be counting that how many number of pulses are required. Okay, means if each pulse is of 8 microsecond, how many number of pulses are supposed to be counted? So for that, the timer value that must be loaded in my TCNT, okay, must be equals to 1920 divided by 8 microseconds. Okay, so we can say that the value is coming out to be 240. Now we already discussed the formula that this number must be converted into your hexadecimal. Then you must have to subtract it by FF, and then you also need to subtract 1 from it. We have already seen that formulas, but we have also seen that the assembler can help us directly. It can do the negation of the value. So in this case, we will not be going for the calculation, we will directly go for the negation of the values. Okay, so I'm not discussing about the main program. The main program remains as the same that we have seen for your timer 0. I'll directly be discussing the subroutine of your program. Okay, so the delay is a subroutine. Means I'm not discussing that you need to initialize your stack pointer, then you need to initialize your R16 with 0, R17 with 0. You can, or that XOR, doing the XORing of your R16 and R17 and all that thing, that is to be done, and it is going to remain common. So only that thing which is making a difference is your subroutine. So in subroutine, we can start by loading the value in a TCNT. Okay, so already we have discussed in the previous case that we can do the negation of it. So directly what I'm going to do is I will be loading R20 by minus of 240. Otherwise you need, what you need to do is FF minus converted value of 240 minus 1 must be the value loaded in your R20, but assembler will be taking care of it. We not have to worry about it. Okay, so LDI R20 minus of 240, it must be loaded in your TCN2 register. Okay, so now loading an R20 value into your TCNT2 register. Then load your R20 with 04 and initialize your counter TCCR. So if I'll load my R20 with 04, so if I load my R20 with 04, I can see from over here means 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 0. Okay, this is the value I'm storing in my TCCR. All the other values are remaining 0, only this value is 1 and rest of the values are 0. Okay, so I have made mistake. Actually 64 prescaler, yeah, this is equals to 1. Okay, so all the values are 0, this is only equals to 1 and this is equals to 0. This means your WGM20 and WGM21, they are 0 0, so your timer would be working in a normal mode, and last 3 bit is 100. So I can look it over here, 100, that will select the prescaler of 64. Am I clear, my friends? Hello friends, am I clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you are clear, we can move further. So I load that 4 value in my TCCR register. Then what the next thing I need to do is, after loading my TCCR, I need to wait for my TOV flag to get raised. Okay, so that TOV flag is in my TIFR register. So I will get the value of TIFR register in my R20 and I will be checking that whether the TOV2 flag has been raised or not. So that can be done with SBRS, means keep the next instruction if this condition is satisfied. Means in your TIFR register, if TOV2 flag is raised, just keep the next instruction. And what is the next instruction? Next instruction is your jump instruction. So until and unless the TOV flag is equals to 0, it will jump to again. And whenever the value of TOV flag becomes 1, it will skip the next jump instruction and it will move further. So where it will go? So it will load the value of R20 with 00 to stop the timer and send it to TCC R2 register. So sending a value 00 to your TCC R2 register, your timer 2 will stop. The next thing is we need to clear the flag for the next coming subroutine. So what I'll be doing is I'll be loading the value R20 with 1 shifted with my TOV2. That means the TOV flag will, the position of your TOV flag. Okay. And then I will load it to my TIFR register. Means already we have discussed, once again, you all need to make a note that whenever you want to clear the flag in your Atmega32 or in any AVR microcontroller, you need to write 1 in that flag bit. Okay, so that can be done with these 2 lines, and finally we can return to your main program. Okay, so this was the case when we want our timer to work in a normal mode. If you want your timer to work in a CTC mode, then you need to select your WGM21, WGM20 as 01, then it will be working in a CTC mode. Okay, now in a CTC mode, how you can make the calculation, means if the prescaler value is not given to you, how you can make the calculations to find it out the best prescaler value to achieve the given specified delay. Let us see that thing with an example. Okay, so we need to use CTC mode and need to write a program to generate a delay of 8 milliseconds and assume that the crystal frequency of 8 megahertz. So how we can make that decision that what the value of prescaler we need to use, because over here the value of prescaler is not being specified. Okay, so as the crystal frequency is 8 megahertz, we will be looking upon the different prescalers and what the prescalers are going to give as an output. So let's say the prescaler, timer clock, timer PDR, and what the timer value can be. So suppose if I'm not using any kind of prescaler, none prescaler I'm going to use, then the timer clock would be same as the system clock. So if my system clock is 8 megahertz, my timer clock will also be an 8 megahertz. Okay, and the time period of your timer is 1 divided by 8 megahertz, that is equals to 0.125 microseconds. And if I want to generate a delay, then 8 milliseconds divided by 0.125 microsecond, that will give me value that is 64,000. So is it possible to store 64,000 in an 8-bit register? No, it's not possible. So we need to check it out the other. Let us go for the other prescaler, that is prescaler of 8. Same calculations we are going to make. The timer clock, now it will become 1 megahertz. The timer period, it will become 1 microseconds. And if I want to generate a delay of 8 milliseconds, then exactly I need to count 8,000 pulses of that. Again, that is not possible. The third is 32. Same calculations if I made, then I'll be having 2000. Again, I cannot accommodate 2000 in an 8-bit register. So I'll go for 64. Okay, again if I make the same calculations, then again the timer value comes out to be 1000. It is impossible. The next, again 128. 500. Maximum value that can be stored in an 8-bit register is 255. Again, this is a little bit larger value. So let me go for 256. So if I'll go for 256, then exactly I need to count 250 pulses of your timer clock. Okay, so yes, I can do that thing. And the only last option is being left, so I have also evaluated the last option of 1024. Okay, so if I'll go for 1024, the count value comes out to be 62.5. Okay, so this is the table that I can make of prescalers and the count values. Now if I'll tell you then which count value you can select out of it. So from the above calculation, we can only use the option of prescaler, that is 256 or 1024. But out of this two also, I can eliminate 1024 as I'm not able to get the decimal value stored in my decimal point value stored in my register. So the only option of prescaler left is 256. Okay, so using a 256 prescaler, system clock frequency of 8 megahertz, loading a value in your TCCR or OCR register. TCNT, you can load it as -250. If it is CTC mode, you need to use load your OCR value with 250. Exactly, you will be able to generate a delay of 8 milliseconds. Okay, so 250 clocks should be loaded in your OCR2 register. Now, okay, one thing you also need to keep in mind that if it is 250, then you need to load the value 249 in your register, because if your TCNT2 becomes equals to your OCR, after one clock cycle only the TOV flag is going to be raised. So you need to count that one extra clock. So we need to load the value by 249. I hope I have made it clear. Yes? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now let's move on to our 16-bit timer, that is timer 1. So timer 1 is a 16-bit timer and it has a lot of capabilities because its timer counter control register TCCR is a 16-bit register rather than an 8-bit register. So definitely if it is a 16-bit, the capabilities are more. So it is having a more capabilities rather than in comparison to your timer 0 and timer 2. Okay. So since timer 1 is a 16-bit timer, 16-bit register is split into 2 byte. They are referred as TCNT1L and TCNT1H. Okay, so as our AVR is an 8-bit microcontroller, okay, so if I want to accommodate 16-bit, I need to use 2 registers. So timer TCNT registers for related to your timer 1, they are 2 registers. One is lower byte of it and other is a higher byte of it. Same way, timer 1 is having 2 control registers. Okay, in the previous case we have seen that it is TCCR0 and TCCR1, but in TCCR2, but in case of timer it is TCCR1A and TCCR1B, as it is a 16-bit register. Okay, it is also having one overflow flag as TOV flag. It goes high when the overflow occurs. It is also having a prescaler option of no prescaling, divide by it, 64, 256 and 1024. You can observe over here that it is having the same prescaler options that is available in your timer 0. Okay. There are 2 OCR registers. One is OCR1 and OCR2, and both this OCR1 and OCR2, OCR1A and OCR1B, both are 16-bit registers. Okay, so definitely the capability is supposed to be increased. So there are 2 separate flags for your OCR registers. As we are having 2 OCR registers, we are having 2 OCF flags. One is OCF 1A and another is OCF1B flag. Okay. When the TCNT equals to your OCR1B, the OCR1B flag will be raised. If it is equals to OCR1A, OCR1A flag would be raised. Again, as timer 1 is a 16-bit timer, the OCR register is also of 16-bit, as well as they are made up of two 8-bit registers, which are named as OCR1A, AH, okay, the higher byte of your OCR1A, and OCR1AL, that is a lower byte of your OCR register. Okay. So this is the block diagram of your timer 1. If I'll go on the left hand side section of your timer 1, it is one and the same as what we have seen for timer 0, but it is having little bit difference at this side. In the previous case, we were only having one OCR register and there was only one comparator. But over here, we are having two OCR registers. One is OCR1A and OCR1B, and it is being compared with TCNT1, which is again a 16-bit register. So you are having two 16-bit comparators that can compare the value of these two registers. And according to that, when the flag is when the matches occur, then OCF1A or OCF1B flag is raised. Okay. Same, it is also having a TOV1 flag also. Am I clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we would be limiting ourselves for discussing about this timer block diagram only. We would be discussing about the TCCR registers of your timer 1 in the next class, as well as we will also be trying to see how we can program our timer 1 register in CTC mode and the normal mode in the next coming class. If you are having any kind of doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, that is all from my side for today. Thank you, everyone. Any doubt? Hello? So as you are not having any kind of query in whatever the things I would explain in this class, we are terminating this class at this time. See you in the next class with timer 1 programming in CTC and normal mode with the different modes in which your timer can work. Timer 1. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.